I get very few opportunities to come face to face with my army. I see only generals and many incompetent ones. Many ones who are detached from reality, who were last in the field several decades ago. I need to see those majors, captains and others who actually run the formations. I am very glad that you have organized it today and have called more programmers than engineers. First of all, I thank Mr. Sinha because I have seen a flurry of activity during his tenure, and we have had the most heated dialectics that any CEO can have with any ENC on every issue. And both of us being from the East, we are both argumentative in nature, and we have both resolved to resolve it through progress rather than through sterile conversations. This is the third or fourth workshop that he has organized, which I think is an all-time record for any engineering chief. Let us give him a big hand. Now, having said that, these concerns which burn me, I'll lay some of them in some sterilized form before you. My apologies. Mr. Sinha, before you go, you must organize one more because I love hat tricks. For him, this is the fourth. For me, this is the second one where I've come 15 minutes late. I normally pull up officers for being late, but then there are reasons beyond control. I couldn't see with my left eye in the morning, which I thought Mr. Mondai would enjoy, because if I can't see half, I can't see the right half. Anyway, I will not start any lectures on HTTV and its gains. They are axiomatic truths, and there are no disputes with truths. All I can say, as one who has had the fortune or the circumstances to be in charge of rather national level policy making, that I have seen a terrible fear and inertia and lethargy and let me retire feeling amongst those who face technology. Not with me. Let me go, then you bring your newfangled things. If I may recapitulate very briefly, the tragedy of India, like the tragedy of India, sorry, let me switch it off, otherwise I'll get a call every 5 minutes. Okay, now, the tragedy of India, if I can start recalling, it will take me 2 years, has been its non-acceptance of the right technology at the right time. I can start with any amount of examples. Let us start with the first major battle that is recorded, that of Alexander. Alexander had won all the battles starting from Macedonia down to the Jhelum. None of us chose to study his tactics. No one. The second fault with us, other than non-acceptance of technology, is fragmentation of policy, fragmentation of leadership. So there was no one who was representing India at that time. So when he came in, winning war after war through Afghanistan onto the plains of Punjab, nobody wished to study his tactics. They were so confident that their old systems were superior that they said, once our elephants start marching, their horses shall run away. What Alexander decided was to take them into the marshes of the Jhelum. That's all. Can you think of elephants walking in the marshes? The horses, being much lighter, could make their way through. And then he proceeded with a phalanx. You know what a phalanx means? Phalanx is all the shields put together with just the spears abutting, a wall of defense that moved forward, and in half a day he licked off the Indian might of the Indian armies. We do not accept technologies. Move fast forward, come over to another exactly 2000 years, actually 1850 years. Babur comes in. The Muslim rulers had brought with them the most superior technology, but they had become Indian. In 300 years, they had become totally Indian. Babur comes in with what was then the state of the art, cannons, Cannons have been tried out in Mysore. There's an article that was supposed to be a newfangled invention which we need not bother about. There are historical references that in the Lodi regime, after it was Ibrahim Lodi who faced him, in the Lodi regime a file was moved but AIBD rejected it about getting cannons. It happened even then, don't worry. So if you think AIBD rejects only now, it's a historical truth with us. And the rest is history. He just walked in with a small army and superior technology. Today we look back and say, thank God he did, because we had our most glorious period under the Mughals. This has been the tragedy of India. And I see the same tragedy being repeated on a daily basis. And the same tragedy being articulated in such seminar language that my blood boils. The argumentative Indian comes back to cover up his inadequacies with a lot of verbal garbage. That's all. And therefore I cut my sword through all this and get straight to the point. Anyone in this room who thinks that HDTV would not rule the day can leave, because we don't need him. He did not waste his time. HDTV is here, digitization is here, new media is here, and they will be there, and we won't be there. That's it. These are the blunt truths of life. What has happened in this great, great organization that actually laid the keel, laid the base of broadcasting in India, has been a great tragedy of one half falling off. It is led by two wings, the engineering and the program. On the engineering side, there has been some of the most superior men that I have seen in my 40 years of public service. I have seen lots of engineering services, even bigger ones, but I have hardly seen such a compact, dedicated, united engineering service. One that is more or less adept with the latest technologies. On the other side, on the program side, I have hardly ever seen such a disoriented lot. It is not their fault that they are disoriented. It is a fault completely of the leadership of Prasar, Bharati and Doordarshan and Akashvani. I take it upon myself to clean it up, to try our best. Just as an aside, I'll tell my friends from program, whatever is humanly possible by way of your stagnant, your stayed up promotions and other prospects, we shall do it. We shall do it through all means, and we have taken both resolutions. We will not wait for various cumbersome procedures, cumbersome rules and others to come in the way. If a PEX has not been promoted for 25 years, he deserves it. Whether we like it or not, if anybody wants to oppose it, I shall still give him his promotion. If his second promotion was due, he will get it. How fast, how much I can do, I don't know, because it's strangulated on all sides by a bureaucratic mindset in both the organizations, especially AIR, lack of manpower to understand these problems, and ecosystem that defies progress. Having said that, having given assurance to my friends from the program services and others who are here, let me say this wing also has to rise to the occasion, with the leadership or without the leadership. I am making it bluntly clear, because I have seen 1.5 years, I am fed up. The speed at which engineering has gone ahead and done its best is now coming in for my introspection, for my examination. I am finding that the locomotive, the engine, is moving much faster than the rest of the train. So either we blame the locomotive or hold it back, or we take the rest of the train, rest of the bogies, and latch them with it. The latter is a better alternative. But the engine has also to slow down a bit for them to catch up. Today is the date when the coupling is taking place. Such sort of coupling meetings must take place at the operational level. At the directors level, we had called a meeting. Some of the senior directors were snoring so hard that people had to tap them on the head. We will see. They have got away with it. We will see. Having said these hard words, as I mentioned to my friends from program, how many of you are from program here? That you go ahead, you pass the message around, and my engineer friends can also do it to their program friends, that I am there, I have 3.5 years to go. If there is a lack of leadership anywhere else, I will step in. I have no option. Why I have no option is because this organization cannot be held ransom by people who don't understand what is the way forward. I will not allow it to happen. I will put in my papers. With these hard words, now let me come across and explain to you why a technology cannot be stopped. I will explain to you two war examples. Satyendra reminds me, Satyendra Prakash, who is representing news here, anybody else from news? You should have brought more. Try to bring more, 3-4 of your hardcore people from sometimes, so they get the hang of what it is. Technology affects our life in such a manner that it takes a long time for us to understand it. I'll give you an example that we studied in anthropology some 45 years ago. Women's emancipation in the West and technology. See, by 1860s, steel had reached such high proportions thanks to high levels of carburization, where the brittleness and the strength could be tackled together. Light steel came into being. The net result was light spokes. Light spokes means light wheels. Light wheels means lighter carriage. Lighter carriage means one horse can run the carriage. The famous one horse carriage, ikka. This comes in as a part of the steel revolution. Once the ikka comes into being, an ikka with a pony can be latched on by a lady. So America was opened up and ladies started driving ikkas, one horse carriage. The American prairie and the countryside was open to the liberated lady who could drive down to the market, buy her things, take her things, sell them and come back, who did not depend upon 3 men to take her when they felt like. This went on for 100 years, this went on for about 30-35 years, this let us say the liberation went on for 30-35 years, and thereafter came the iron horse, the automobile. The automobile for a minute, to start with, was retrograde where women's emancipation were concerned, because the automobile required 2 persons to crankshaft it, to start it. In the beginning, it required 2 persons. 2 persons would have to start the engine. And when 2 persons are required for this engine, it was impossible for a woman to do it. Again, back to the gender disequilibrium. Very soon, they came up with a technology whereby you could bring it down to 1 crank, 1 shaft. But even that one required a lot of strength. And therefore, again, Jack, will you start my car? Starts. This technology can't go on, and more or less, whenever they went on with the horse carriage which they could drive, what would happen is the loud car that is coming on from the other side, they would just simply press that horn and the horse would bolt. This has happened through literature, hundreds of them, examples. He was talking of poetry, this has happened through literature, and the woman went off the roads. Exactly 2 generations of women were not allowed to drive. This is the period that a retrograde step happened. But once having tasted liberty, once having tasted economic equality, they could not be confined back to their homes. This was a period of the suffragist and the women's movements in America. This explains the sudden violence, the sudden boil up, the sudden equal suffrage, equal voting rights, the sudden turmoil, technology. How would this be resolved? By a German engineer, Bosch, who starts the self-starter, the ignition switch. Once the ignition switch comes back, the roles are reversed. One small simple ignition switch replaces the crank start and relations are back to square one. At every level, technology has its impact. What will be the impact of digitization? We have seen even in the Turkish thing. Turkish movement a few days ago. What is happening in Syria? I was reading Time that they are posting the brutalities of each side on the social media. Sometimes those who have perpetrated them are posting them. The social media is leading and cohesively uniting the disunity that is breaking through Syria today. It is leading to such amounts of exaggerated violence that one can't contain it by sitting in one's room and hoping that I broadcast, you listen. You don't want to listen, you switch off. The nation will say, you switch off, brother. You have to be interactive. So digitization, social media and others that are taken as appendages of broadcasting today are actually going to lead it from the front. When I came and joined last year, I was horrified at the level of backwardness that I had inherited. Horrified at the level of backwardness that I had inherited. The only forward-looking DG in the last 15 years in Doordarshan was Naveen Kumar. Naveen had tried a little bit, I heard. But other than that, others are just pontificating their way through. We seized that opportunity, and today Doordarshan has a lot of contact with social media, but social media is yet to drive it. It is still a part of its baggage. When it comes up, it is like the engine in the Volkswagen that is behind. Once the engine comes in front, the imbalance will be rectified. Same for HD. HD is the order of the day. And I can find a degree of satisfaction in the first part where 2 HD cities are ready, Mumbai and Delhi. Here again, we have requested, we have pleaded, and now we have ordered the administrations of Doordarshan that you shall do it. If you can't do it with this existing manpower, we shall hire whatever manpower we will. And let me see kiski taakat hai isko roke. We have done it in news, we shall do it again. There is no question of following that because my people were not trained. If only 4 programmers have come, it is a tragedy again. For us, it's a tragedy again because it's meant for them.
We have invited many.
But that's a tragedy. I can't see any program ADG other than ADG News. So there again.
So we invited 5 persons from.
But yeah, Suniye, this is the organization is mine. It is neither yours nor DG's. I will resolve it in my way by organizing it again if required. Again, we'll get it organized there. We shall force modernization in spite of anyone. I'm making it an oath here because I can see this delta hai sinking in too much into Doordarshan. We shall have to do it because you have seen how I function and everywhere I have to come up in the morning with these stiff ones. Some of them remind me of the Bourbons about which historians had said after being chopped on Place de la Concorde in France, hundreds of, that when they came back for the second time, historians had said, they learnt nothing and they forgot nothing. So if you have to go through a stage of learning nothing, we'll have to get it done. Those 4 or 5 persons for program who have come, I thank you. Pass on this message that CEO Saab ne aisa kaha. Please pass it on shamelessly. Don't worry about seniority. There is no seniority when you are in the trench. You don't look into the shoulder rank when you are in the trench. You look for victory, you look for survival. We have reached that stage. As I have said, it is upon me, because I will be lasting here 3.5 years, inshallah. It is up to me to take it forward. And I look for friends, I look for allies. If they exist, well and good. If they don't, they don't. Finished. In the case of news, I can give you an example of how we modernized it. Mr. Sinha also played a role, Mr. Yuvraj Bajaj played a role. If you look at news, do you know that your news, DD News, is number 1 in the English segment between 9 and 10? About 18 times to 16 times higher than Times Now. I'll give you the figures, send them the figures. That in Hindi news, between 8 and 9, when we can compare, we are 1 or 2 for the last 10 to 15 weeks. Did you ever think of it? When it comes to national, we are 3rd. The moment we reach 3rd position, all the forces are ganged up to see that Times ratings come down. You have been hearing all this. Read the Hindu today, you understand where we stand. So this fight for modernization, this struggle for modernization is not a single line struggle. It is a struggle that involves the education of all my compatriots, my colleagues, my comrades. It is one where the cleaning up of the palace headquarters are required. It is one where a consciousness to come to join the two engineering and the program wings together comes in with an attitude of complete dedication that if anyone stands with the way he goes, finished. There is no place for laggards in a battle. It doesn't matter what his rank is. It doesn't matter to me what his rank is. HD is a reality. I went to 2 to 3 countries to talk, once in Seoul, once in Turkey and once in Australia in the last 1.5 years. All 3 have said, what HD do you have? And when they hear that we are still doing it on standard definition, I spoke to NHK also, they actually barely could conceal their laughter. They could barely conceal their laughter. That this is one country where at least 50%, 40% of the production has not migrated yet to HD is a matter of national shame to us. इसके लिए costing की ज़रूरत है. We require a lot of funding. I have already been holding funding meetings with my engineers because our plan system itself requires a strong review. Our planning that we will give it to you one drop at a time cannot serve the purpose of technology. Technology either compresses itself to a fast forward, fast activity, quick scientific per chart, or is subject to the vagaries of an uncertain plan fund release. This choice has to be decided in the next 6 months to a year if we have to go forward. The driblets of plan advances, driblets of plan funds will not do where technology is concerned. Plan cannot wait for donations to come at occasional intervals. Once you have decided upon a technology, you have to find the resources to pay for it, because you have to have the confidence that that technology will pay for itself the moment we start it. That confidence must be there. Those who are old people here would have seen the hand pump. Have you seen the hand pump? Where it is to get stuck, all we require is a mug of water from the top, and then the water will start flushing up. My role is that of a mug of water, yours is that of the hand pump. With these words, I thank you all for calling me and listening to my straight talk. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very inspiring and motivating message, for your encouragement, for your initiatives, and making